We're just gonna kind of sift through, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start. So, guys, we're back. So, it's been a minute because we've been trying to line up times that work for all of us. We've got very busy schedules, but we're
They
back.
don't know the chrono. Keep up with the illusion. It's only been a few seconds, guys.
So, we're gonna be continuing with Obelisk Blue 13 and with Grunt, and we're gonna pick off right where we basically left off last time. So we were looking at the new Roid support, and we've got the card Dragon Roid here, and it's a level 8 wind machine monster, and I think the artwork is kind of cool. But it says here you can only use this card's name's first effect once per turn, so that's interesting. So you can discard this card, activate one of these effects. Add a non-wind Roid monster from your deck to your hand. This turn, the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. And then the second one, once per turn, if this card is in your graveyard, you can make this card in the graveyard become a dragon monster until the end of this turn. Okay, so I'll start with you, Carlos. Man, what do you think? Pretty solid card?
So I remember this from the anime. It's been a long time. This actually this first aired in GX. As like Roid support, it's okay because it searches a Roid card, so I guess that's good. I also found it kind of funny that they had to specify non-wind Roid, so they basically, or if they didn't do that, this card would have been broken because then it could have searched Speed Roids.
Yeah.
But long story short, it's really good. The first effect is a magical meltdown effect, which I guess it's always wanted to be able to protect yourself. And then the second effect, where it can make itself dragon, that's good for like the new Cyber Dark cards. If you wanted to make this card dragon and then equip it with your Cyber End dragons, that'd be pretty good. Or I'm not even sure if that's Cyber Dark End Dragon, I think is the new card.
Yes. I got some words about this as well, but it's interesting. I'll say this real quick because real quick. Carlos, are you done talking about it?
Yeah, I'm done. I don't have anything else. It's just pretty basic card.
Exactly. I was gonna say it's basic, non-wind. I mean, essentially, it lets them get away with things. The thing is that some of their monsters are wind, and it's like Mixeroid, I think, is like one of their more recent supports. You can't search that because it's a wind for some reason. Gyroid, I don't care about Gyroid. I'm just saying, like, there are some non-Speedroid Windroids that kind of hate this restriction, but again, Speedroids are the better Roid. Anyway, I agree. I mean, searching out mostly any Roid is good. You know, having a magical meltdown effect. Roids like this. I guess what I'm trying to say, though, about the second effect is if it had an effect while it was equipped, I would be okay with it. The issue is that, especially with how the new CyberDark support opens up more avenues for equipping, the second effect is cute, it's niche, and it's just a nice little nod to when, Cyrus was playing both CyberDarks and Roids, and it's cute, but, it's just a reference to, like, a one-off time in the anime.
Now, guys, is it going to be easy to get out on the field?
No, there's no reason to get it out on the field.
You just want it for the graveyard effect.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this going, ooh. I mean, if there's a way to special it from the grave, but I was thinking, man, this is going to be pretty tough to get out.
So this is one of those cards. This is one of those cards where it's past its usefulness, in that it probably should have been printed like several years ago. Like, if this card was printed like 12 years ago to support CyberDark, like, okay, cool. It still wouldn't be good, but at least they would have a cool piece of support. But now it's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's literally one of those cards from the anime where it did one thing, Konami's like, well, this card is garbage. Let's add something to it. Because if I remember in the anime, and it's funnily enough, I don't think it ever appeared in the dub. It only appeared in the sub, I think, because I think it was only in the sub where Cyrus was playing Cyberdarks. But long story short, I'm pretty sure Dragonroid's only effect in the anime was this card is also treated as a dragon monster on the field or graveyard, and that was it. So it didn't even have the pitch effects, so it's cute.
Yeah.
It's
I think the guy he was playing against had a card that made all his cards a different attribute or a different type in the graveyard, and basically this was his out. I think it actually might have been the Declaration of Rebirth that we see. Unless Cyrus used that. I know this card was also used in that same in the anime as well.
So I'm glad you're segmenting into that, because if you look at Declaration of Rebirth, I think the artwork is amazing. I love the way that looks. And I think, looking at the card here, it's a continuous trap. So once per turn, you can declare one type, and all monsters in the graveyards notice it said graveyards, become the declared type until the end of this turn. Grunt, what kind of uses are we going to see with this?
So first thing, I'm just going to go back to the anime reference. I'm 99% sure what happened was that Cyrus was running this, or Zane through Zale may have ran this, and the reason why Dragonroid was useful in that episode was, I think, if I remember correctly, the guy that Cyrus was facing was playing a Ginzo deck, and that negated Declaration of Rebirth or something in Dragonroid. Semantics, I guess. It's just random stuff about a dub we never got. Anyway, I can see this having twofold uses. There will be decks that will love... I'm sorry, I got puppies in the background.
I was wondering what that little noise was.
I'm in the basement. I'm in my basement, and they're sharing space with me. Aww. Anyway, Declaration of Rebirth can definitely help you in making your graveyard certain types, Cyberdarks like that, other cards like that. Personally, if you want my opinion, I don't think it's going to see as much use of that as it could be Disruption. There are certain cards that want certain types. Dragon Link, I think, is a big example. You could play this against I don't know. If you're going first against Dragon Link and you happen to have this, you could technically change it so their graveyard isn't dragon, so Pisty can't go off, or the Guard Dragon continuous spell can't go off, or there's a few niche uses.
I think the best deck that can take full advantage of that is probably Buster Blader. So I'm pretty sure they want all your opponent's stuff to be dragons in the graveyard.
The issue is that Buster Blader is one of those decks that likes to OTK, and it's a trap. I guess the one thing that some people have already said, and it's been a while since they unveiled this card, but the biggest thing people have told me is, well, it's essentially a trap version of Zombie World that only changes the type for a turn. So depending on what decks want to do, it's like zombies would like this if Zombie World didn't exist. But I don't know. This is going to be one of those cards where there's going to be some stupid strategy that abuses it one day, and it's going to limit card design, and maybe it'll get on the list someday if it happens to have some sort of stupid broken combo. It's kind of like Tyrant of Neptune. It's it's inoffensive right now, but there might be a strat one day that can abuse it.
Well, and you think about decks, and I like how Yu-Gi-Oh! Kid's talking. You've got Tri Brigade. I mean, this could be pretty effective against that, wouldn't it? Because don't you have to send Winged Beasts? And then you got to banish the Winged Beasts in order to get the effect?
You can banish Winged Beast or
Warrior.
Yeah. So I guess as long as
if you made them all dragon,
as long as you call
or
a
zombie,
type that isn't. Yeah, so they would be screwed as long as you call the correct thing, which I'm assuming 99% of Yu-Gi-Oh players are going to call the correct thing.
Right. So I think that, I see exactly where you guys are saying here, and Yu-Gi-Oh Kid, thanks for the thought there. Because I do see this more as disruption than anything else. That's what I would be thinking with this. But very interesting for sure. I do like the card. I think it's a nice, solid card. Moving on now. Looking at the Noble Knight's shield barrier. So we've got some knight support here. So it's a level 4 monster. It's a warrior type, obviously. And you can only use either of the first or second effects of this card's name once per turn, and only once that turn. So I like that it's a hard once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can banish one light monster from your graveyard and you get to draw a card. Or the second effect, you can banish this card from your hand or face up from the field, and if you do, you get to add one level 6 or lower wind beast monster from your deck to your hand. Ooh, very interesting. Carlos, which effect do you like the most there?
The second effect by far. And why is this so good? This card's so freaking good because this card searches your Crystal Beast, your Sapphire Pegasus, which this card is basically amazing because it gave Crystal Beast minimum 4 extra copies of Sapphire Pegasus because you could play 3 copies of this and you could play a copy of Reinforcement of the Army to get to this. So like the deck just got super consistent. And if I'm not mistaken, there's actually a Noble Knight Searcher. So if you really wanted to, you could play you could play 3. You could play like 10 copies of Sapphire Pegasus now.
Wow.
By the way, what's that noise in the background?
Huh? Hello?
What's that noise in the background? It's really staticky. Yeah, can you hear me?
On my end, is it staticky? Is that what you guys are saying?
I'm not sure if it's your end or okay. That fixed it. Anyways,
okay.
Really good searcher. Yeah, really good searcher for Crystal Beast.
Awesome. Grunt, do you see any other applications of this?
Well, obviously it's going to search out the Horses of Floral Knights. We had the level 6 we discussed the last time too, so that's obviously the intended use. I could see maybe a deck that likes banishing light monsters and getting some advantage off if you're able to special it with like a Soul Day.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I definitely think it's a solid card. And even if you're out of targets, the first effect still comes in handy, where you're still going to get a draw effect here. So yeah, I think it's a pretty solid card for sure. So it'll be interesting to see what players do with it.
The only other good target I could think of, and I feel like people forget this card, Red-Haired Hasty Horse. You could also search that out and get a free special summon with it. So, you know, you can use that as an extender if you want. I mean, Hasty Horse is good because it's essentially a Cyber Dragon, but it doesn't require a monster. It's just having a column that's empty. So,
that's really good.
You could get an extender with this as well.
All right, let's move on then to Horse of the Floral Knights. So it's a level 3 Wind Beast monster. And it says here you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 light noble monster from your deck to your hand. And then 2, once per turn, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, including this card that's on the field. Ooh, pretty solid. Grunt, what do you like about this one? Like, do you think this is just going to be pretty good?
I mean, again, it can kind of search out Noble Knights. The issue is that it being Beast makes it kind of awkward to special summon. Obviously, you can thin out your deck if you really want to use the horse. You can search it out with Shield Bearer if you don't have it. Summon the horse, search again. And obviously, it's meant to go into the fusion monster we have on the next slide. It's decent. I think that it's something to keep in mind, but otherwise, I feel like a lot of Sherry's cards here are just waiting for more generic uses because Wind Beast isn't really a type that's used much. I mean, Sapphire Pegasus is probably the best Wind Beast that's an archetype.
Yeah, I agree. Carlos, your thoughts?
I think it's okay. I mean, I like it as a card for Sherry. I find my only issue with these cards, and it's not necessarily an issue with the actual cards. Like, I think they're good. I think for a casual deck, they'll be plenty fine.
Yeah.
I find the name translation a little bit weird. It's just the fact that they're Noble Knight cards when she never used Noble Knights in the anime, and then on top of that, Noble Knights are a Zexel archetype.
Yeah,
it is a bit weird that they decide to do that. But other than that, I think the card is good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I like that it's also a poly. You know, I like that as well, where you can fuse with it. So definitely solid. Looking at our next one here, so we'll actually start with the fusion that Grunt mentioned. So we got, let's see, Centaur Mina. So it takes 1 light warrior monster plus 1 beast monster. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. During your main phase, you can special summon one level 2 or lower monster from your hand or graveyard. And then the second effect, once per turn, when your opponent activates a trap card during your turn, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, set that card. And then there's a third effect. If this card is sent from to the graveyard as synchro material for a Wind Warrior monster, you can destroy one face-up monster on the field. Wow, what a fusion!
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. What do you really enjoy about this?
So what I like about it is it's an extender for Sherry's deck.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times you want to go into a level 6, and then you want to go into the level 2 Flare Synchron. So you can synchro summon into her level 8, which is a negate. So this is really awesome. And then on top of being an extender, it's also disruption in the sense that when it's sent to the graveyard for the synchro summon of the monster you're going to be synchroing into, you could destroy a face-up monster on the field. So it's like really good at breaking boards as well as it is extending. So I like it for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a good card.
Yeah, absolutely. Grunt, your thoughts?
It's solid enough. I mean, for all the reasons Carlos said, it gets the job done. Resetting a trap, I mean, Malfunction's a pretty old trap. I mean, I guess it works. Again, I don't really like the idea of negating just to reset it. It kind of is just putting off the problem for later, but you know, it's better than nothing. Special summoning one level 2 or lower monster from hand or grave. I mean, obviously its intended target is Floor Synchron, so you're going to get a draw off of Floor Synchron. You're going to pop with her, and, you know, for Sherry's deck, it's cute, it's casual, and, yeah, gets the job done.
Yeah, and I like it.
I also really like... I was going to say, I also really like the synergy with the card next to it, the Noble Knight Spear Holder. The fact that you could, like, even if you don't have Flare Synchron, you could have a Necro Flare, and you can also have this Noble Knight Spear Holder. It's not like, like before, the deck was like, you were limited to the 3 copies of Flare Synchron, and then that was it. And you hoped and pray to God that you open it. Now it's like, you have 9 copies of it, essentially, which is really good.
Absolutely. And speaking of this card, if we look at it, it says Noble Knight Spear Holder. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one level 8 or lower monster you control, and until the end phase, its name becomes Floor Synchron. Also, it is treated as a tuner. You can tribute this card and added one equipped spell from your deck to your hand. Yeah, so... definitely a solid card for sure, especially getting the name. I think that's a big deal. So I like it. Yeah, I think it's definitely both cards synchronize very well together.
It's also...
Oh, go ahead.
And also, it's a generic searcher for any... yeah, I was saying it's also a generic searcher for any equip spell, which has the potential to be broken. Like, if like a deck like the Infernoble Knights comes around again, and all they need is a specific equip spell to start their turn, like this would be really good for that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you literally do your normal warrior extension, pitch 2 equips that can include your Phoenix Blades, special summon Spear Holder with a Soul Day. Spear Holder, get a certain equip, whether that's a DDR. DDR obviously is a good search out for this because, well, we all know DDR is good for recovering your warriors. So again, this is an enabler, and yeah, you know, it's a generic thing you can do with a Soul Day. I could see it being used in the future.
Well, and I can see some people doing some really fun, unusual things too. So like getting Moonmere Shield or something, you know, I mean something crazy where they can attack over. Is that the right card, guys? Where it makes you 100 more than your opponent when you're attacking or if you're defending. Is that the right card?
Yeah, it's Moonmere Shield.
Yeah, I mean, you can do some really fun things with this that I think lots of people would enjoy. So pretty cool for sure. Moving on though to the Xyz monster now. We've got Leo Utopia Ray. And so this card's name is always treated as a number C39 Utopia Ray. And my son would go nuts for that because he loves C39 Utopia Ray from the anime. But once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, equip one ZW monster from your deck. or extra deck to this card as if it were equipped by its own effect. This activation and effect cannot be negated. And then the second effect, once per turn while this card is equipped with the ZW monster card quick effect, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and if you do, its current attack becomes halved. Interesting. What are the good uses for this, Grunt?
Yeah, I mean, the good uses are that it's no joke that Utopia Ray here is literally a better version of Utopia, the one we just got in Lightning Overdrive. And yeah, you're never going to see people summoning Dragonic Ray because Utopia Ray is the better option most of the time. And equipping any Zexel weapon from your deck or extra deck, so that includes the Xyz ones. I mean, again, this is literally what... This should have been the cover card of Lightning Overdrive, no joke. I don't know what they were doing with Dragonic Ray.
You took the words out of my mouth. If you didn't say that, I was literally going to say, wow, this should have been the cover card of Lightning Overdrive, because this is significantly better.
I would have loved pulling three. Oh, wait, three? No, four. I pulled four of that freaking Xyz. I would have loved pulling this guy instead, but no, I have his dorky cousin. I have his dorky cousin who's nowhere near as good.
Also, on a side note, I know you said your son loves number C39 Utopia Ray.
He does, yeah.
I actually just bought him today as an... I purchased him yesterday as an ultimate rare to go into my number collection, so I'm super excited to get that in.
That's awesome. Man, guys, Carlos's collection, we're going to have to do another video in real life at some point when he gets more to it, because it just keeps expanding. So it's absolutely nuts. And definitely check my profile if you want to see the interview I got to do with him. His whole place and collection is just so cool.
Me as well. He already has the ghost.
Oh, I know. It's awesome. Moving on to ZW, is this Sylphid Wing? Is that right?
Sylphid
It's not Sylphid. Okay, thank you. You can only control one ZW Sylphid Wing. You can target one Utopia monster you control. Equip this card from your hand or field to that target as an equip spell that gives it 800 attack. Once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster or monsters with an activated effect, you can make the equipped monster gain 1600 attack. If the equipped monster would activate its effect by detaching material or materials, you can send this card to the graveyard instead of one of those materials. Ooh, that last effect is interesting. Okay, so Obelisk, what are you thinking for this one?
I'll swing back around to this one. I just wanted to mention something I forgot to mention about the Leo Utopia Ray.
You're fine. Yep,
so the fact that it can equip a ZW monster from its deck means that it can equip the new ZW monster from Lightning Overdrive, which is actually already effect negation. Yeah. So essentially, this becomes double effect negation, which is really, really good.
Wow.
Yeah, super strong card. I really like it. In terms of the ZW, I think it's kind of like cheesy, if I'm being honest.
It is.
Like I like the ability that you can detach it as one of the Xyz materials instead. But honestly, I don't see this one being played in the deck. I think it's just kind of like it's just too. I don't know. It doesn't do enough. Just gaining attack nowadays isn't good enough. It needs
just
to do
seems
something
gimmicky.
Else. Like
cute. That's it. It's just cute.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put that. Yes, it's got a neat little effect that I don't think most people are going to go for the majority of the time. Yeah, I completely agree.
Most Zexel weapons are reactive or defensive, not offensive. The offensive ones like this, Chimera Clad, we don't even talk about Chimera Clad. The point is that the offensive Zexel weapons are less useful compared to the defensive ones because Utopia can already get big enough attack off of the attack boost they all give it.
Yeah, great points, guys.
On a random note, I'm actually on a tangent. I'm actually really excited about all the Utopia support that we've been getting recently. I think they've done a really good job revamping the deck.
Yeah,
and I'm super excited to see the structure deck. This is one of those structure decks where I really hope and pray to God that they don't just they don't just like tear it apart and put it in like a random product.
Yes.
I want us to get the sealed Utopia structure deck. Like
Yeah.
this is probably one of the structure decks I've been most excited for in a long time. Even over the Cyber Dragon, the Cyber Strike structure deck. I want this Utopia structure deck.
Well, I got pretty hyped after we did our last podcast. I thought, man, this is pretty decent support. And I feel that what they're including here, it just makes it better. So pretty excited to see where it goes. Continuing with the support. Okay, so we've got ZS, oh gosh, Ouroboros Sage. I have no idea if that's right. Okay, when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one non-light number monster from your graveyard, but its effects are negated. And if you do, equip both this card and one Utopia monster you control. You control the summon monster as equipped spells that give it 1700 attack, but you can only declare one attack this turn. When a monster that this card is equipped to by its own effect declares an attack on an opponent's monster, you can make the attacking monster's current attack become doubled, but destroy it during the end phase. And then we have Zexel Catapults. It's a normal spell. You can only use this card's name 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. 1, you can special summon one ZW or ZS monster from your hand. Then if you control a Utopia monster, you can change the levels of all face-up monsters you control to 4 or 5. Oh, that's neat. And if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card and add one ZW or ZS monster from your graveyard. Then target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Woohoo. Okay, so, Grunt, which card do you like the most here?
As a gimmicky guy, I like Ouroboros Sage more just because it's supposed to give you a clinch OTK option, even though Utopia Double already does that. But hey, I gotta give points where they're due. This does technically mean you can now OTK with something that's not Utopia.
Yeah.
And it could see some use. I don't know what you would use it on, but, you know, anything that's non-light. So if you're running a generic rank 4 toolbox, I guess you could run this as a 1-of or something, have it searchable, and I don't know. It's cute. I like the idea of making something so freaking huge that it's the only thing that can attack. It becomes double. It pops. It's... You know, it's just everything I like. Zexel Catapult to me is just something that they could have released a few years ago, and I wouldn't have batted an eyelash because it hasn't really, it's not horrible, it's just not really revolutionary.
Yeah, it's an interesting card. I'll definitely say that, especially changing all the face-up monsters you control to 4 or 5. That's just pretty interesting. But Carlos, your thoughts?
So I actually like the Zexel Catapult more. I think the Ouroboros Sage is a little bit gimmicky. I like the Zexel Catapults purely as an extender. If you want to special summon another another ZW, and the fact that you can make them level 5, okay, that's awesome. You can go into the bigger Utopia cards, and also the fact that it has recursion.
Yes.
Or not recursion. The fact that you can banish it from the graveyard to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. I like that. At the very least, you can like Foolish Burial Goods it, set it up for future disruption. I know that's kind of slow, but like if you're playing like a really slow kind of casual deck, I like it. I like it more than the Ouroboros Sage personally.
Yeah, I think I lean more towards Catapult as well. It's interesting to hear both your perspectives because, Carlos, I notice you're always all about extending. And Grunt, it seems like you're about that control, looking for the moment to win. It's just so interesting. So I love hearing your guys' different perspectives. Continuing on, we've got... Is this Yowie? Okay, so it's a level 3 Earth Reptile. And it says here, you can only use this card's name effect once per duel. Oh, wow. You can only special summon monsters or a monster once the turn you activate this card. Wait, you can only special summon monsters once. Oh, the turn you activate it. Okay. If this card is summoned and no other cards are summoned at the same time, you can skip your opponent's next draw phase. And then you've got Numeron Storm. where if you control a Numeron's monster, destroy as many spell or traps your opponent controls as possible. And if you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Oh, okay, that's an interesting one for me. Okay, I already like it for the burn stuff. But Carlos, which one do you like the most here? Which one do you like? Oh yeah, I like this.
I personally like the Numeron Storm, and I like that simply because several reasons. One, I love the art; I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Two, I love it because I think that this being in our Battles of Legend, because Animation Chronicles is our Battles of Legend.
Yes.
This being in Battles of Legend gives me hope that the new I 1000 and the I 100,000 are going to be in the set. And I really hope we get those because it looks like we're already getting the fake Numeron cards or the fake number cards. So adding the 1,000 and the 100,000 Numeron and Numeronius, whatever the heck they're called, adding those would be a great addition to the number collection.
Absolutely.
So big thumbs up for that.
That would be sweet. Grunt, your thoughts?
Yep. And then Yowie.
Sorry. Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, let him go about Yowie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, preventing your opponent's draw phase is pretty cool, but like it doesn't matter if like your opponent has a good hand already and they can just combo off. Like one Yowie isn't gonna stop them.
Yeah, yes, very true. Okay, go ahead, Grunt. Your thoughts. Which one do you like the most?
I'll keep it simple and clean here. Yowie, you're not going to see any competitive play with this. This is literally going to be seen in some jank decks. I have seen stupid janky combo decks pull off the stupidest things with this by somehow hand looping and like it's not good. Yowie is not good. They overkilled it. I think they did an overkill here with this because Time Seal. The only thing that this thing has over Time Seal is that you can activate it immediately and shut down a potential draw phase. That's it. But other than that, it doesn't do much else. It's Yatagarasu, but it's an ugly spider lizard. Numeron Storm. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Konami, pull your heads out of the sand. You're not an ostrich. Get the freaking number collection out here. I want to buy an entire binder collection, and then I would like special versions of the Numeron stuff. I ain't paying for no platinum Blue Eyes card. That's $1,000, but I'll gladly pay $250 for a number collection. Numeron Storm's cute. You can run one because Numeron Network does let you send it from the deck to the graveyard. It's just getting out Numeronius is really not optimal. I hate to say that because I love Numeronius and I love the imaginary one, even if the imaginary one is just a giant invincible punching bag. It doesn't do any fighting. But hey, I don't know. It's cool stuff. I just wish that, I don't know. I wish maybe it was inflict 1,000 for each spell and trap destroyed, or because Numeronius itself is already so crazy.
I thought it was for each trap. Yeah, you're right.
Special monster.
Yeah, I thought it was for each trap. Yeah, that's not as good as I was thinking originally. Yeah, I mean it's still good for removal if you have a card on the field, the Numeron monster or Numerian monster. Yeah, but yeah, that is a little bit of a letdown now that I'm looking at it closer. But I still like the way it looks, and I agree with you. We have got to get the right collection. Moving on here, we've got Dollhouse now. It's a field spell. And you can only use this card's name or the first effect once per turn. You can target one normal monster with 0 attack or defense in your graveyard. Special summon one monster with the same name from your deck as a level 6 dark monster. If you control Princess Cologne, you can target 2 monsters instead. Interesting. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can attach one Grandpa Demetto you control to your Princess Cologne as material, then end the battle phase. Whoa, this is weird. Okay, so then we got Princess Cologne here. What a name, because when I think of Cologne, I think of men. So that's weird. Okay.
So I'll say this real quick. When making these slides, I did add in all the Princess Cologne support. Obviously, Princess Cologne, to people who know about this card, it's existed for many years. They're finally giving us more cards from her, and Dollhouse, and I think one other card in here are recent support, but I understand we probably might have discussed the past support they gave them earlier this year.
No, I'm not sure I have. I don't remember talking about this. Okay, so
okay.
when this card is Exceed Summon, you can target one box of friends in your graveyard, special summon that target. If you control another monster, your opponent cannot target this card with cards, effects, or for attacks. Interesting. If a face-up normal monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect and is sent to the grave, you can detach one Exceed material from this card, special summon one normal monster from your deck or graveyard in face-up defense position. Oh, interesting. No, I didn't know about this at all, Grunt. Yeah, so this is brand new for me.
So I'll give a quick explanation because I don't want to go into too much detail, but the idea was Princess Cologne herself was actually a character in the Zexel manga. She never summoned herself, but they kind of expanded upon her strategy. Her playstyle involved having level 4 monsters that were like toys and stuffed animals and dolls.
Okay.
And she had a field spell. The field spell's effect was if normal monsters got destroyed, summon darker counterparts from the deck. They were level 6. Then those would be destroyed later by the opponent. Then you'd summon your 8s, and then she would summon Zombie Stein. She actually was the person who used Zombie Stein in the manga.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I didn't know this. Zexel is the anime I am least familiar with. Yeah, go ahead, Carlos.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. If you told me, yeah, I said I'm gonna be honest, bro. If you told me she's the one who summoned Zombie Stein like 5 minutes ago, I wouldn't have believed you. Like, what the hell? Like, just looking at her, you don't think like she's playing this like big beefy zombie with all these dolls. I really thought she was. I really thought this deck was just a rank 4 spam deck.
Manga, the Zexel manga was something else. It kind of, in my opinion, harkens a lot more to the OG Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I'm pretty sure Princess Cologne took a page out of that one doll from GX. She's like some sort of spirit of a doll that's been traveling around the world or something. And she was picked up by Mr. Heartland and Dr. Faker, and she was trusted as a number hunter, and she happened to have access to number 22, Zombie Stein, and the funny little thing is that Princess Cologne was kind of, I don't remember if she had an issue with men, but she, I think, had a great distaste in boys because boys were not a fan of dolls, and I don't know the whole story. I never read the manga. I just know a lot of the backstory.
That's interesting.
And the funny thing is that Yuma beat her by summoning Gaga Girl because number 22, for whatever reason in the manga, refused to attack female monsters.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, wow.
It's funny stuff. The Zexel manga really kicks it compared to the anime, in my opinion. What I've read. Interesting.
All right, well, let's go into it more here. So you've got some of the cards here for us to look at. So there's some of the normal monsters. We've got the level 1 box of friends, where if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon from your deck 2 normal monsters with different names whose attack or defense is 0. Now notice that's attack or defense in face-up defense position, but they cannot be used as synchro material. Also, they are destroyed during your next end phase. You can only use this effect of Box of Friends once per turn. Carlos, can you see some other uses with other decks that have attacks that are 0 or defenses that are 0? That would be normal monsters.
No. This is the only deck. I'm gonna be honest too. This deck is really gimmicky, but I'm probably going to play it in Battles of Legend because it's like the only one that, besides the Numeron stuff, that I think is like semi-interesting so far. But with that being said, I really have no thoughts. I like it as a rank 4 spam.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that you could play Unexpected Die in this deck.
Yes. Oh yeah. Easily.
Ooh. So as of 6 minutes ago, we actually some breaking Yu-Gi-Oh news. The Magic Key archetype actually just got some new support revealed, and it turns out they did in fact get a Synchro monster, and they did get an Xyz monster, and they got a quick play spell, a trap, This arc, and I think they might have gotten a tuner monster as well. This deck's coming along really nicely.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Grunt, if you can add to the slides, I would appreciate that. That way we can include that for people.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think they're. I don't think they're translated yet.
They haven't translated though. Oh boy.
That depends. That also depends if Yugioh News on Twitter. Shoutouts to them. This is where we're getting. This is where we've gotten our picks from. Yugioh News. As far as I know, usually does not have info until the localizations. So I don't think we're gonna have info on them until.
Yeah, but that's still exciting because that deck, that archetype, just gets better and better.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like the tuner monster it looks like a mini centaur, and then the synchro giant centaur who's on fire. It honestly looks really cool. Like, if there's one thing that Konami always gets right, it's the artwork, man. Like, the artwork on some of these archetypes is always just amazing. And most of the times I get interested in a deck, it's because of the artwork.
Absolutely.
Like the Flundereeze, I'm not sure if I pronounced it. Like those that artwork is amazing.
It is kind of a funny juxtaposition that we have a game where we have some of the creepiest imagery out there. Like, you look back at OG Yu-Gi-Oh! With like Trial of Nightmare, which is a sword through a coffin, and then you go to the cutesy images of Flundereeze, or you go back to some of the twisted stuff in Frightfur, and then we literally have a picture here of a doll and a teddy bear in overalls. It is what it is.
Well, with Frightfur, all I could think of was that game Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, literally, I just, that's all I thought of when I saw that archetype. So even though I knew it came out way ahead of time, so interesting.
All I can think of is the fact that they really felt the need to censor construction scissors in the TCG. Like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, so they really
censored construction scissors.
What? How did they censor it?
Well, because they're zombies, and the OCG, like the Frightfurs aren't super bright, so you can actually see the scissors coming out of the bears.
They censored them. Remember, you know what I like? It's essentially, in my opinion, a callback to the original anime where Arcana and Yugi weren't going to be cut by saws; they were going to be cut by energy discs that sent them to the Shadow Realm. Instead of an actual saw, it's like, they're not going to get cut in half; they're going to be hit by light. I don't know. They like censoring stuff in weird ways.
Yeah, well, they do censor often, especially if you look at the Harpie cards. That they're just all about censoring. Even like the Crusadia female monster, the tuner. Yeah, it's just crazy to me.
Right.
But anyways, getting back to the artwork here of these cards, they still look good. I mean, it still looks like fun. Like Carlos was saying, even though it's something that's going to be probably just a spam level 4 engine, I'm okay with that. It's still fun, and lots of players will have different options with it. So I think that's cool. So,
it's cool. I mean, I was just going to bring this full circle real quick. Before Frightfurs were a thing, this deck in the manga had a very similar design. If you look back at Box of Friends, you'll see that there are 4 monsters in there: a robot, a dragon, the bear, and the doll. And in the manga, it wasn't the effect that made them come with higher levels. It was literally, she had higher level versions in her deck that looked more and more like Stitch. The idea was that Grandpa Demetto in this artwork, for example, would re-sew the monsters, and suddenly they were kind of more and more monstery and undead looking.
Wow.
And, you went from a cute teddy bear to a patchwork nightmare before she summoned number 22.
Interesting. Well, let's look at that card then. So you brought up Grandpa Demetto, and it says it's a level 1 monster, so already synergy with other level 1 strategies. You can only use each of this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn. You can detach 1 material from your Princess Cologne and special up to 2 normal monsters with 0 attack or defense from your graveyard as level 8 dark monsters. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. And if your Xyz monster activates an effect by detaching a materials that were originally a normal monster, you can target that Xyz monster and add 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy that opponent's monster, And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the Xyz monster's rank times 300. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, and then we've got Dull Happiness. It's a continuous spell, and you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. When this card resolves, you can add one Grandpa Demetto or Box of Friends from your deck to your hand. Oh, that's pretty good. And monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters you control that have 0 attack or defense for attacks while you control Princess Cologne. Once per turn, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls or in your hand, and if you do, send one doll monster card from your deck to the graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for Xyz monsters. Oh, wow. Okay, so Grunt, what do you like in here? There's an awful lot to talk about with these two.
So, Dull Happiness is the deck's, I shouldn't say training wheels, but this is what makes the deck much less gimmick. It's still gimmicky, don't get me wrong. This is not going to be a tier 1, tier 2. This is going to be rogue at the absolute best, but it's still fun, and I like that about a deck that, you know, came out like 10 years ago in a manga. The point is, happiness happiness opens up your plays with searching, and if you look back at Cologne, if you remember Cologne's little text, while you control a monster, other than her, she can't be targeted for attacks. Dull Happiness essentially forms a soft lock.
That's what I was just thinking. I thought, you've locked your opponent. They can't attack you.
And you can't target her. You can't get rid of her. And again, Cologne is the reason why Dull Happiness does that. So again, no spell and trap removal. It essentially locks your opponent down. And I guess it should be mentioned, because I could not find localizations for them. I'm guessing Yugioh's had them, I just couldn't find them. But the bear and the doll, I believe it's like Doll Monster Bear or Doll Monster Teddy and Doll Monster Mädchen, which is like German for girl. Long story short, those are both called doll monsters. So when it says doll monster card, that's what it's referring to. So you're essentially sending your normals so that Grandpa Demetto here has targets for you to summon your level 8 monsters.
Wow, that is amazing. Carlos.
And,
oh, sorry.
The last thing I was going to mention, I don't want to take too long, but obviously the other thing here is you're probably wondering, well, Demetto's 0 attack, he leaves you open if you don't have Dull Happiness. Well, the nice thing about Dull Happiness is that even if it's not on the field, if you have a field spell, again, Demetto can be absorbed into Cologne and you can end the battle phase.
Boy, interesting.
With the Dollhouse, the field spell. So,
yeah.
You know, yeah.
I like it. I really do. I think it's going to be fun to play test with. Carlos, you're thinking.
So I think before reading the Dull Happiness, it was kind of like, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But after reading the Dull Happiness, it just wraps the whole deck together.
Yes, it does.
It makes it like Grunt said, it's not going to be meta, but not every deck needs to be meta, guys. Like I have like a million decks in my house, and I think like maybe like 1 or 2 of them are meta.
Yeah.
And for them, the bulk of them are just casual. You know, and honestly, that's how I enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh the most, just casually playing with people I know, you know.
Preach.
So as a casual deck, I'm really excited
to
see how this one comes out.
I am right there with you.
The nice thing is, this is all coming out in Premium Pack 2021 for the OCG. It already came out, and the other stuff like Dollhouse comes out in the Animation Chronicles. So, in my opinion, this is going to be a lot like some of the other decks, where we are going to get all of this stuff in Battles of Legend. So, knowing how Battles of Legend is, this is probably going to be a cute little budget casual thing you can build, and I know that Chrono here loves building budget decks like that.
Oh, I do.
Especially because Battles of Legend is shaping up. You know, it's looking a lot like they're gonna do the same exact thing that they did last year with a numeron or with an astral language number monster being a Starlight Rare, and then another card being a secondary Starlight Rare. So it's very, very probable that the card's going to have 2 incredibly high value chase cards, and everything else is just going to tank out.
Yeah.
Cologne and Box of Friends actually did see some buyouts for whatever reason, but now that we know that we're gonna probably see them in Battles of Legend, it's like, okay, we're probably gonna get reprints of Cologne, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying they will. It kind of makes sense thematically. I would not be surprised if we get a reprint of Zombie Stein as well.
Oh, that'd be neat. I would, and I like it, and I really like what Carlos had to share. I think that is so the right way to approach Yu-Gi-Oh. Have fun. Just play something casual. If you can find people who do the same thing, you're gonna have a blast. Because, man, me personally, I'm just not a meta guy. You know, that's just not who I am. All right, so moving on here, we've got Flundereeze map. I don't know if I'm saying that right. At the start of your main phase 1, add one monster with 0 attack from your deck to your hand, and if you do, have your life points. Oh my gosh. Also, you cannot activate the effects of cards the same name as the added card until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, or until you normal summon a monster with that name. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, so before we get to the Lyrilisk Bird Strike here, we got to talk about this one. There's uses for this, but Carlos, what do you feel the downfalls with a card like this?
So the fact that it searches one monster with 0 attack. It halves your life points, and you can't activate the effects until the end of the next turn unless you normal summon it. Really sucks, because if your normal summon gets interrupted, you're dead. Like, congratulations, you just lose the build. And so that's the downside of it, really, and it's plain and simple to see. Do I like the card? Not really. Will it probably be forgotten about, and then in like 10 years' time, when there's like a random 0 attack monster that we need to start combos with, it's gonna see a buyout? Yeah, I totally expect that to happen.
What do you mean? That card already exists. It's called Numeron Wall.
Yeah. Grunt, I feel the same way Carlos does here. I think it's too big of a risk. Do you think it's going to see any kind of play?
Here's the thing. I understand what you're thinking. Oh, you have all your life points. I'm going to say this. Technically, the nice thing is, it's not like you're paying 4,000 to get Ash. You do have to get the search off before it works. And decks that... I guess what I'm trying to say here is, if you're normal summoning a Numeron Wall, like, you could easily fake out with this. You search a Numeron Wall, normal summon Numeron Wall. Oh, you pop my Numeron Wall. Too bad. I'll pitch the other Numeron Wall I already have in my hand. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not a broken card, but the niche uses are there. There's a lot of good monsters with 0 attack, and I could literally bring up a list right now, but like Numeron Wall is easily the best example. I think another example
search my U-Bell?
Well, exactly. You could technically search out a U-Bell, and it's... Let me actually double check real quick. There was something else I had in mind for this deck, or not deck, card.
The card. Mm-hmm.
Like, you could search out pendulum scales with this, technically.
You could. Sure. That was one of the thoughts I had, actually, was that you could get Harmonizing Magician with this card.
Exodia players, worry no more. You can search out Royal Magical Library. Who cares about your life points?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Let's see.
You know what? Here. Now, wait, you bring up a good point, because this... Okay, so wait, this is automatically a hard once per turn because it says at the start of your main phase 1, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Man, that is interesting. I didn't even think about Exodia pieces. Boy, that's really something.
It searches out your DD Kepler so you can get your searches off. And I understand.
I don't think it searches out Exodia pieces per se. I think he was just talking Magical Library.
Oh, that would make
which
sense.
Is used in an Exodia deck.
Yeah.
But no, you can search out your what was it? What did I just say?
You said Kepler for DDDs.
Kepler. Yeah.
And he is one of the main starters of the deck, but that deck requires you to pay life points. So I don't know how I'd feel about being down so much. So it's interesting.
It depends on what you're running. You don't usually have to burn your life points too much by the standby phase if you have ways around it. Let me see. You could search out pretty sure there's some other stuff I had in mind. Infernoids, you could search out a handful, I think. Nah, never mind. I'm forgetting.
Oh yeah, you can search out Decatron, right?
I don't think Decatron is 0 attack. Forget that. If you want to be that guy, you could search out Ojama Red and, in an Ojama deck. I'm just saying it's got niche uses.
Yeah, there are some uses. It's just, man, just like Carlos just said, though, it's a steep investment. Oh, my gosh.
It could be, but you could also search out, I know the Sacred Beast engine's been a thing in some decks. You could literally search out Dark Beckoning Beast with this. It has 0 attack and defense.
Yeah.
Add your Uriah, Haman, or Raphael, and then, extend from there. It's got some uses. You can definitely get some searches out. I don't know. It's definitely going to just keep getting better over time as we get more and more monsters with 0 attack.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I think it's got much more usability in the future than people give it credit for.
Oh, yeah. And I think we are going to see uses. I do. It's just going to take time, like Carlos was saying. So I very good points. Let's go ahead and look at Lyrilisk Bird Strike. So it says here you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. If you control a Lyrilisk monster, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. Okay, so it's similar to a Dark Ruler no more. And you have to control a Lyrilisk monster. Grunt,
better and worse.
Oh, say it again.
It's better and it's worse. Now, obviously, people out there are going to be like, oh my god, it's Dark Ruler no more that doesn't stop damage. But you have to remember it can be negated. The biggest thing about Dark Ruler no more is it can't be negated. Sure, it's going to sound your OTK potential, but the fact that it can't be negated is a big deal. Now, an argument I've heard is technically it's searchable. You don't have to run 3 of this. You can run the Wagtail, get your search, and if you want to still run Dark Ruler no more in your deck, there's nothing stopping you from trying to activate this first to keep your OTK game up, and then if you happen to have Dark Ruler no more and you want to use it, you can use it. It's interesting, and I'm going to say this, people are like, but it can be negated. The issue is that so many cards out there can be negated. I don't think that's the reason why you should sleep on it. This is something that, if you don't have the negation, your goose could be cooked, and, Lyrilisks have gotten a lot of support. We're going to keep seeing Winged Beast.
Yes, they have. In fact, they had something just recently that is amazing. So we'll definitely get to that, guys. Yeah, because it's pretty good. Carlos, your thoughts?
Anytime you get searchable disruption, it's good.
Yes.
So this is a good card.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Moving on here. So we've got legendary callbacks here. So we've got the V-Jump promo code. We've got Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire Blast. It's a level 7 wind dragon monster. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. If you control a level 6 or lower wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Second effect, monsters cannot target level 6 or lower Harpie monsters for attacks. And then the third one, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send one winged beast monster from your deck to the graveyard. Oh, that's pretty good. That last effect. And then from the legendary monster pack here, you've got Kaiser Glider, the Golden Burst. You can only use this card's first effect once per turn. It's a quick effect. You can tribute one monster and special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. This card's attack becomes equal to that opponent's monster until the end of this turn. Interesting. Okay, so Carlos, which one do you like more?
The toss-up is probably the Harpie lady, to be honest. Or not the Harpie lady, but the Harpie's Pet Dragon. I think it makes going into the level 7 Harpies easier, or level 7 plays with Harpies easier if you have Chandler. So I think that's good. Also, Kaiser Glider. This might be a dumb question, but you have to tribute one of your monsters, correct? Because it doesn't
That's a great
specify.
question.
So
It just
making
says
sure.
tribute one
Could run it
monster.
there if you wanted.
Because man, if this card's broken, if you could just tribute
Absolutely, I
one
didn't
monster
think about
quick
that.
effect, like that's
I think that's just
We're going to need a ruling on that. It doesn't say from either player's field on the text.
Might just be a translation on Yugioh News' part. I'm pretty sure it is just supposed to be your own monster because I've seen other translations. I haven't seen anyone talking about using this as a kaiju or anything, so I'm assuming that it is supposed to be your own monster. But that doesn't mean you can't do it in Lair of Darkness text.
If you could tribute your opponent's monsters, this would be a better kaiju because it'd be a quick effect.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, boy, if that's the case, you're going to see heavy play, because if that happens, you've got disruption, and then after that, when it's special, you can target one face-up monster and at least get a secondary effect. Boy, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd be curious to find out what the final card text says.
Pretty sure the final card text does say tribute one monster you control, but they just didn't put it in here because I haven't seen anyone hyping this card. It's already released in the OCG over in Japan, so trust me, it's definitely not that good.
Yeah, that would have been a great card though. It'd be neat if they made something like that. That'd be pretty neat. But I mean, it still has uses. So if your card's about to get popped and you still want a body on the field, this at least does something for you. So pretty interesting. Yeah, both cards are very interesting, but I would agree. I think the Harpie's Pet Dragon is the better one of the two, at least right now.
The Harpie's Pet Dragon is literally literally an extender because any deck that's wind, which, hey, if we've learned anything this year, wind is not the worst type anymore or worst attributes. So, yeah, it's really coming up. It's really coming into its own. In my opinion, fire needs more help now than wind does,
and fire does have a good archetype in Salamangreats. I mean, they do have something there.
It does, but this is generic wind support. Speed Blades, Lyrilusks.
Yeah.
They can all. I'm not saying they should use this, but at the very least, it's link material.
Yeah.
It's at least link material, and I think that's the cool thing is that unlike some of the other cards like this that are archetypal, it is actually very generic and splashable. And I'm just saying this right now: if there ever is a level 7 or a wind deck that uses level 7s, this and Tempest will both see play in it. I'm not saying it'll happen, but it could.
Yeah, good points. Definitely good points. After that, we've got Galicia the Dark Knight, the Soul Spear, and you can say it again.
Yeah.
Giltia, is that how I say that?
Giltia.
Okay.
Yep.
So
yeah, don't worry about it because honestly, old school Yu-Gi-Oh names are really dumb.
Well, yeah, I just don't know. There's so many different ways I've seen names said and pronounced. So, Giltia. Okay, the D Knight here, Soul Spear. You can only use this card's third effect once per turn. If you control no monsters, you can normal summon this card without attributing because it's a level 5 warrior monster. When this card is normal summoned, you can banish one monster your opponent controls with attack higher than or equal to this card's attack. And then the third one, you can discard one card and add one level 7 Dark Dragon monster, one level 7 Dark Machine monster, or one level 5 Water Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. Oh, wow. Lots of options there. And then Mystical Elf, Mystical Burst Stream. That's interesting. It's a level 4 light spellcaster. Notice it's got the exact same attack and defense as the original Mystical Elf. When a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, and you control a level 5 or higher normal monster quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, negate the effect. During your opponent's battle phase quick effect, you can target one normal monster in either graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, while you control it, monsters your opponent controls must attack it if they're able to. Okay, Grunt, which one do you like for the legendary support here?
You know, if I put Kaiser Glider next to one of these, it'd be very easy because both of these are good in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
Guiltia here is definitely the better generic one because, I mean, at worst, it's literally normal summon, non-targeting banish. The coolest meme I've seen people say is, who's gonna win in a fight, Dragoon or one normal summoned level 5 that banishes him? It's not. I'm not saying that you'll always be able to banish Dragoon because Dragoon has its negate, but hey, if your opponent burns the negate and you happen to have this guy,
Oh,
there you
absolutely.
go. You can banish Dragoon. He's gone.
Oh,
I say this because
hold on. Can you guys hear
I hate to say
that?
it. Okay. Hear
Oh, dear.
what?
I think someone has turned something
I don't
on
hear
in my
anything.
house. Okay. Guys, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to stop here. Because I'm pretty sure that's my wife who turned that on. Okay, so unfortunately, because I can you guys hear this in the background?
Hear what?
Is it a dishwasher or a dryer?
It's an air conditioner.
Laundry
yeah,
machine?
it's an air conditioner. Yeah. So,
Okay.
all right, we'll have to stop there for tonight.
Can we at least talk about the Flundereeze? Because I feel like that's probably the most relevant
as
thing.
long as everyone can hear me, okay.
I can hear you just fine.
I can hear you.
If everyone can hear me, I'm fine continuing. I just feel bad if that's in the background.
I'll just say this real quick while Mystical Elf is here. It's Blue Eyes support. I like Blue Eyes. Good job, Mystical Elf. You finally did something good. And outside of being a 2K wall.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, we can skip forward to the Flundereeze.
Okay. Hang on. Let's go ahead and go to the next one now. Okay, so we've got unlikely reprints and set delays. So we kind of talked about this a little bit last time. We're hoping that we get these reprints. Will they happen? It doesn't look good based on previous track records with structure decks or even starter decks that the OCG gets, that we don't get the same stuff. So Infinite Impermanence and Lightning Storm would be wonderful cards to get reprinted. Bringing down that price for budget players would be fantastic. Now, this just broke recently here. Unfortunately, the products are delayed, some of the new products coming out. So the Structure Deck Cyber Strike, which I was really looking forward to seeing in July, we are not going to see it until October. And that is very disappointing. And this one's even longer. The Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm, it's supposed to have come out in July as well. And we're not seeing it until January. Carlos, do you happen to know what's the cause of the product delay?
It's honestly just COVID. They haven't been able to catch up with sets. And it's kind of sad because we've been having a lot of quality control recently, so like the fact that they've literally delayed stuff and they still can't get product out normally, that's concerning. And then they've been in some cases they've been underproducing what they were initially like required to produce because they just can't fulfill the orders. Like Rise of Destiny was super underordered, which sucks because that set's amazing, as we know. But yeah, so I'm disappointed. Am I surprised? No. At this point, I just don't expect Yu-Gi-Oh products to come out on time when they announce them. So I would basically look at things that you guys are hopeful for, and I would add at least another week onto the release date, if not months.
My gosh, that is just nuts to think about. Are we gonna have this with the Megatins?
We already did. It got pushed back to September out of August.
Right, but do you think they're going to be even longer?
Nah. I say that because the Megatins are a TCG exclusive product. They are not coming from the OCG. I think the biggest thing is that Synchro Storm, I think, technically it was announced, it was like posted we were going to get this in July. At the same time, though, Konami never really gave an official announcement, so I kind of understand why they're pushing it back so far.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only thing that confused me, first things first, Cyberstrike better have these reprints now. It's releasing on my birthday, so please give me the reprints, Konami. But Synchro Storm, the only thing is, if you look, we don't have to look back, but some of the new Speedroid support, the Sherry support, the Lyrilisc support comes in the animation pack that the OCG is getting.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to probably get that stuff in Battles of Legend. So the idea was get the Speedroids and Lyriliscs and Sherry stuff, and then get the extra support in Battles of Legend. Now, Battles of Legend looks like it's going to be coming before Synchro Storm. So I wonder if either A, they're going to remove those cards from that pack and put them in elsewhere, or B, if we're just going to get those cards before Legendary Duelist, and Konami's going to be like, ha, you get these cards ahead of time, you can just wait for Legendary Duelist to get them to full use, and it's weird stuff. You know what I'm saying. It's kind of weird. They're putting one set before another, and what was meant to be additional support is now going to be early support.
Yeah, it's just interesting. But it's going to be interesting to see the effect, like Carlos was saying, that COVID does have if they get behind on these two. Because what other delays might we see going forward? And Yu-Gi-Oh players are very routine. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
We've already seen some delays, like King's Court got pushed back a week. Next month, like literally almost every set recently has been pushed back. Like I don't think we've gotten a set on time.
And that's just weird because most people in life are very structured based. They like routines. They like knowing when things are happening. And it's just I think this is going to cause issues because people are chomping at the bit to get these sets. So I'll just be curious what that impact is on them over the course of a year. So it's going to be very interesting to look at for sure. Hang on. So did you guys want to talk about, you said the Boral's support? Is that what you guys were saying? I can't remember. Carlos, which one did you talk about?
I wanted to talk about the Flundereeze support, but we could talk about the Boral and then the Flundereeze, and then we can like call it a night.
Okay, that sounds good.
I think
I can barely hear the AC, so it depends on everyone else's opinion.
Oh no, I can definitely hear it, but it's not like a distracting.
Okay, I'm glad, because guys, I'm so sorry. I'm sure that's my wife that has turned that on. So at least I'm hoping so, because if I get inside and it's Matthew, he's going to be told, now you should know that this is not allowed. But all right, so let's go ahead and look at the Burst of Destiny booster set here. So it's getting its release in the OCG in July. And you've got Borreload Riot Dragon. It's a level 8 monster. Of course, it's dark. And it says here you can ritual summon this card with Heavy Trigger. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. First effect, when your opponent would special summon a monster or monster's quick effect, you can negate that special summon, and if you do, destroy it. Then destroy either this card or one rocket monster you control. And then the second effect, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Boral monster or rocket monster in your graveyard, destroy one card you control or have in your hand, and if you do, add that target to your hand. Oh, that's interesting. Then we've got Dual Wheel Dragon. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. You can tribute this card, then target 2 rocket monsters with different names in your graveyard and special summon them in defense. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Rapid Trigger or Heavy Trigger from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then we've got Heavy Trigger here. It's the Ritual Spell. So if this card is used to Ritual Summon Borreload Riot Dragon, tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal 8 or more, or instead of tributing, destroy rocket monsters you control or have in your hand, and then ritual summon 1 Borreload Riot Dragon from your hand. The special summon monsters cannot be destroyed by battle with monsters special summoned from the extra deck. Also, it is unaffected by the activated effects of monsters special summoned from the extra deck. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Grunt, what are you thinking with this kind of support, man?
Yeah, like I'm a Rocket fan. I always liked Rockets, and I kind of hated how they were becoming Dragon Link accessories. I'm not here to hate on Dragon Link players. I just feel like it's kind of sad how that deck has existed for so long when everything else has kind of come and gone. If they do kind of kill Dragon Link, I wouldn't mind seeing Rockets and Borals kind of working on their own for once, not relying on everything under the sun. And this ritual is a nice start. I mean, heavy trigger here as a ritual spell, very, very neat. Obviously, people are wondering, like with dual wheel, it's like rapid or heavy. Rapid trigger, for those who don't know, is the fusion spell, which, depending on who you ask, it's not that good. I kind of like it, but at the same time, I understand why people don't like it.
I don't like it because it locks you into the certain ways you can attack, But that's just me.
Exactly. So, no, exactly. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, Ritual is amazing. It was only a matter of time, I think, before Borals got a Ritual, so it's kind of cool that they did. Literally, all Borals need now is some random pendulum monster, and they've covered everything. So, good for you, Borals. You're very inclusive, and getting a new Ritual that actually rivals Savage Dragon, I dig it.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's really solid. I've got a very, very fun casual control Rocket deck. And boy, is this going to hype that up. Carlos, your thoughts?
So I think the ritual was freaking amazing, right?
Yes.
You can't look at this and go, it's not amazing.
Yes.
The only thing is, it's a ritual, man. Rituals are rough.
Yes,
unless
they
you're
are.
playing like a very specific engine. If you're playing Drytrons, great. If you're not playing Drytrons, oof. So like, will they play a small Drytron package? I don't know. We'll see. But it's tough, man. Anytime you do a 3-for-1, like 3-for-1 minimum, that's rough.
That is rough.
That's rough to go through. But like, the card is amazing. And honestly, like, if you're playing a casual Rocket deck and you put this in there, I'm not gonna hate you. I also kind of wish this was on the Xyz monster and the bad Xyz effect was on the Ritual monster, so we could just like kick the Ritual to the side and like just play the Xyz. But unfortunately, it's not, and we have the amazing effect on a card, which I don't know how often it's going to be summoned. Maybe there'll be a gimmicky way. I don't know. I hope someone finds a way to make it so that you can do all the summonings in a turn with rockets. Like, that would be awesome.
I agree.
All I'm gonna say here is that we know that rockets apparently are the cover card of this set. We can assume that Ritual here is the cover card. All I'm gonna say is, we've seen 3 cards from them. I'm expecting
the Ritual isn't the cover card.
Oh, it's not? What is the cover card
No,
for Person?
They haven't revealed it yet.
Oh, I was under the
which is a crazy thought. Because if they haven't revealed that yet, that must be absolutely
Oh, wait a minute. That's right. The other Boral card is like that giant-looking thing. I forgot about that.
The Boral end, that one isn't the cover card either. That one's a completely different card. Yeah,
no. You know that. There's another Boral monster we saw a picture of, though. Not Boral End, but like another Boral monster they showed the artwork for. That's the cover card. We just don't know what it does.
So I'm pretty excited to see what that is. And hey, you never know. Maybe it's a pendulum. I doubt it, because Vrains has like 0 pendulum monsters. But you never know. It might be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting.
You should actually be able to decipher what kind of monster it is just by looking at it. I'm actually gonna pull it up now. This is a Burst of Destiny, because all of the Boral monsters are based on the color scheme that they're like based on. So the Fusion Boral's purple, the Xyz Boral is black. So this one's actually red. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's very
that is weird.
I'm excited.
Unless it's just a main deck monster.
It's fun. I like rockets in general. I like destroying stuff and getting specials. I mean, it's very fun. So pretty cool for sure. Okay, so I'm trying to think, what slide do I need to go to next here, guys, to go over what you're wanting? Do you happen to know, Grunt?
Okay.
Hang on. Let me exit.
Say it again.
Okay, there we go. Okay. All right.
It's,
So
it's
let
the
me
slide
see.
with the bird.
Okay, so going to the bird. Nope, that's not it. Wait, right here? Cipher? Biplane?
No, they're called
We're
Flundereeze.
ignoring the cipher.
Hang on, let me find it. I know we got it
Yep.
here. Ah, where is it? No, that's not it. There it is. Okay, here we go. I found it. Okay, so Flundereeze, and this is a brand new archetype, so we're pretty excited about this. And I'm glad that you brought this up, Carlos, because I've been seeing a lot of hype here about this archetype. Why don't you let everyone know what's so good about it?
Okay, so this is one of the first good tribute summon based decks we've had in a while. And so you can this deck basically non-stop normal summons, which is crazy, to be honest.
Wow.
Like I'm sure there's a limit, there's a cap, but a card in this deck that gives you three additional normal summons.
Oh
That's
my
perfect.
goodness.
And any way you push it, 3 additional normal summons is amazing. So and then the effects are awesome. They just interlock with each other. It's a really good control deck.
Interesting. So now that you say normal summoning like that, does Card of Demise become super powerful in this deck?
I don't think so.
Because it stops you from specialing, but you can normal as much as you want, right?
If you
I think a better card would be like Domain of the Monarchs.
Oh yeah,
from the extra deck, like that would be broken.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or if you wanted to play an extra deck, you could play Pot of Extravagance and just draw 2. Like there's tons of cards that you can make use of. Like either you play an extra deck. What were you saying?
My opinion on this is now I was talking to some people about this. Domain works. My only argument against Domain is that since your deck doesn't doesn't special summon at all anyway, and it doesn't type restrict you, what you could do is get your combo out, and you could run just some off tribute monsters as floodgates. Who cares about Vanity's Fiend blocking your special summons if you're never going to special summon yourself? So you can run your extravs, you can run your Pot of Duality. Pot of Duality, for example, locks you out of special summoning, but who cares? You're not special summoning. You can run Duality as kind of a mini Prosperity alongside your Extravagance, and it's good stuff. You're able to facilitate your plays, and Vanity's Fiend can be one of your specials. And even if you don't have Vanity's Fiend, the counter trap is bananas. It shuts down pretty much the entire meta we have right now.
Yeah, pretty interesting
also,
for sure.
Like, oh my goodness, the artwork on these cards are beautiful. Like, look at the Flundereeze X Robina. Like that clock tower in the background is just completely beautiful. Like, and I know I talk about it a lot, but this is what I love that Konami does versus other card games. To me, Yu-Gi-Oh, the artwork is always just next tier.
Absolutely.
What I like about the aesthetic of this deck is not only does it have this cool artwork, but you can kind of see this if you move up to the field spell. But the field spell actually references this, and the cool thing is there are 3 of these little birds. You'll see, like in the Robin picture here, there's one with a little witch's hat. There's one with a headband here with the eagle, and there's one other one that's wearing like a pair of light goggles. I think those are called Biggles or something like that. Anyway, the point is we've got these 3 little birds, and it looks like they're traveling around the world. And the cool thing is you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. You see the giant clock tower? I get like Big Ben vibes.
Oh,
so,
that's
like,
cool. Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah.
The eagle is obviously America. The ostrich is like Africa maybe, and then the toucan is South America. So I'm almost expecting a few other cards to maybe represent Australia.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. It makes me think of Rio for the toucan there. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, let's go ahead and look at it. So, Flundereeze Rabina. It's a level 1 monster, water. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. Also, you cannot special summon the turn that you activate either of those effects. If this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 level 4 or lower Wing Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 Wing Beast monster. If this face-up card leaves the field, it's banished. If a Wing Beast monster is normal summoned to your field, while this card is banished, you can add this card to your hand. Oh wow, that's really interesting. Okay.
Recycle.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Then you got Flundereeze Eaglin, and it says here it looks like it's the same thing each time. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. Also, you cannot special summon the turn you activate either of those effects. If this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 level 7 or higher Wing Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 Wing Beast monster. Oh my gosh. Could you do this with Apex Avian?
Theoretically, yes, but you don't really need Apex Avian because you can search out Apex Avian. The point is, though, that if you read what the boss monsters of this archetype do in a little bit, you'll understand why you don't need Avian.
Oh, wow.
You'll see what I mean.
Oh, wow, that's amazing to think about. Okay. If this face-up card leaves the field, you're going to banish it. If a Wing Beast monster is normal summoned to your field, while this card is banished, you can add this card to your hand. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Carlos, why is this? I mean, you kind of already gave us a breakdown, but what are you thinking just hearing the two big main effects here of these monsters?
So on normal summon, they get an effect, and then they get an additional normal summon. That is broken. Then they banish themselves, and then they reoccur while they're banished, so you can proceed to normal summon them again. That's broken, man. Like, wow. That's absolutely amazing. Like, what's not to like about it? And literally, I think if you do the Robin, you can normal summon the Robin, search the Eaglin, then you can summon the Eaglin, search one of the level 7s, normal summon that. If you normal summon the one that gives you 3 additional normal summons, then you're like bam, bam, bam. Wow. Get your 2 banished ones. You can normal summon another one. Get your 2 banished ones back. Like the possibilities for this deck are incredibly juicy.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Grunt, I'll have you go with your thoughts after we get through the next two. So then we've got Flundereeze Stritch. And it says here, if this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 card in either graveyard and banish it. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 Wing Beast monster. If it leaves the field, it ends up being banished. And that's amazing because there's so many ways to remove a card, but the fact that it's banished is a really big deal. If the Wing Beast monster is normal summoned to your field while this card is banished, you get to add this card to your hand. Oh man, wow, this is going to be trouble. All right, then you've got Flundereeze Toucan. And it says here, if this card is normal summoned, you can target one of your banished Flundereeze cards, add it to your hand, then immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Wing Beast monster. If this card leaves the field, you get to banish it. If a Wing Beast monster is normal summoned to your field while this card is banished, you can add this card to your hand. Okay, Grunt, what are you feeling so far now that you've seen 4 cards? Thoughts you have?
I mean, the first 2 are obviously your playmakers, not playmakers, but your starters. You're gonna on any given day you want to open Robin search Eagle search bigger monster, and you're gonna summon, and then bada bing bada boom, you've got what you need to get your turn going. Now, the big thing obviously is that you're not able to do your extended normal summons on the ones you bring back. So, say I summon Robin, Eagle, tribute both of them, and then technically I add them back to my hand. Even if I do normal summon again, the issue is that I can't keep extending with them again. That is one limitation to keep in mind. So, people will probably look at Stritch and Toucan here and be like, "Oh, this is kind of limiting things," but at the same time, you get the idea. It's
Yeah.
essentially having extra extenders. You don't want to start with Stritch or Tokan, especially since this is a deck that's going to want to go first. Stritchin's not going to be banishing much from your opponent's graveyard. But hey, it's worth it. And these are both, extenders essentially. You want to have Eagle or Robin, but these are your extenders, and there are plenty of other ways in this deck to get your normal summons off. So I like what I see here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so something I was thinking about actually when reading these is that this is a really good engine for going first, and a lot of the time it locks you out of special summoning that turn, but that could be supplemented with with specific decks that like to special summon on your opponent's turn. So I'm thinking like Eldritch. You could supplement the archetype with like an Eldritch core or an Amazement core. You could play an Amazement core because I'm pretty sure the Flundereeze have a trap card. You do that, you special summon the Arlecchino, then you start searching your Amazement stuff. Like this deck's pretty good. Like I think it's not very often where I look at a deck and I go, wow, this deck really has a chance to be meta. But man, this one has a really good chance to be meta.
Ooh, interesting, very interesting. Well, let's look at some of the boss cards now. So we've got Flundereeze Empion, and it says here if this card is tribute summoned, you can add one Flundereeze spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon one monster. While this tribute summon monster is on the field, your opponent's special summon monsters in attack position cannot activate their effects. Oh, wow. If this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can banish one card from your hand. That opponent's monster's current attack and defense become halved until the end of this turn. Then you have Flundereeze Snoll, where it says once per turn, if you control this tribute summon monster or card, you can activate this effect. You can conduct 3 normal summon sets this turn, not just one. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Yep. Okay, that in itself is a lot to digest right there. Okay, while this tribute summon monster is on the field, if your opponent attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage, and then once per opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish one card from your hand, change all opponent's special summon monsters to face down defense. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's so much to digest here. So,
block.
Grunt, which one do you like the most here? They're both so interesting.
So, it's hard for me to say which one I like most. My honest opinion, if I had to choose one to end on, it would be the Emperor Penguin any day. The reason why is because Snoll here is saying, hey, I'm going first. If I can keep Snoll protected until the end of my opponent's turn, my opponent can kiss the game goodbye because I'm going to have 3 normal summons to not only use on them this turn if I have an extra tribute, but I could also save it for next turn. So Snoll is good for that reason. Turning all your monsters into piercers is crazy. And obviously, having a quick effect, Ultimate Tyranno style effect to just flip everything face down is crazy. Now, the thing is, Snoll, my only issue with Snoll is that while he's got a good stun effect, ideally, you don't want your opponent to have special summon monsters. The counter trap, which is searchable with Empin here, is your plan A if you're going first. Empin is literally like, look at me, I turn all of my opponent's cards into skill drain, but it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
And
jeez.
And that's assuming your opponent even gets through to special summoning. This stops every single Link monster. Link monsters can only be an attack. Yeah, because
they have to be an attack. Yeah.
It's literally a slightly worse but still great Baguska because it doesn't limit your own plays.
Yes. So interesting.
It is. And the other thing too, I mean, the battling effect, it's cute. I mean, the thing is, if you recur people are probably like, oh, I have to banish a card from my hand. If you think about all of the birds that you're able to recur, like, you literally tribute summon Empin, and because the monsters are banished, you get another normal summon off. Suddenly, they're back in your hand, and now you have more resources to banish, and it's hilarious to think that this penguin here is that oppressive with how happy he looks, but he is a very oppressive card, and we'll get to the counter trap, but this is a strategy that is already seeing a lot of hype. I don't want to see this deck become Magical Musketeers 2.0, where people are hyping it crazily and it doesn't do much. But you can't deny how amazing this all looks, especially since the level 10 also is an extender with searching spell and traps, which again you'll see when we get to the counter trap why that's very important.
Absolutely. Carlos, anything to add?
No, I just wanted to point out, like, there's synergy. One of them punishes your monsters for being in attack position. The other one punishes your monsters for being in defense position.
Yeah.
That takes care of both. So either way, your opponent's screwed.
Jeez. Yeah, that is just amazing.
Exactly.
Amazing. All right, so taking a look here, we've got the field spell. So Flundereeze and the mysterious map. And it says here you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. During your main phase, you can reveal one level 1 Flundereeze monster in your hand, and if you do, banish one Flundereeze card with a different name from your deck. Then immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon the revealed monster. If your opponent normal summons a monster, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one Flundereeze monster. Oh boy. And then you've got Flundereeze the Unknown Wind, and you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. You can conduct a tribute summon that requires 2 tributes by sending one monster you control and one card your opponent controls to the graveyard instead of tributing. Oh my gosh. And it's still treated as a tribute summon. During your main phase, you can reveal up to 2 Wing Beast monsters in your hand and place them on the bottom of your deck in any order. Then draw the same number of cards. And it's a continuous spell. Oh my gosh, Carlos, what do you think of these 2 cards? Oh, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, I had my thing muted.
No, you're fine.
I was saying, wow, they're really, really good. First of all, Flundereeze and the Unknown Wind is amazing because you contribute one of your opponent's cards. It doesn't say monsters. It says one of your opponent's cards.
Yes.
Which is broken. It's broken. Like, you can literally get rid of pesky, like, spells or traps or monsters.
Yeah, I'm thinking amazing. Mystic Mind players more now. I mean, you could just pop it.
Exactly. And then on top of that, it gives you draw power too. Like, yes, I'll take draw power. And then Flundereeze and the Mysterious Map is amazing because it literally gets your whole deck engine started. Like, if you reveal the one that could be that when you normal summon it, you target one of your banished cards and then add it back to your hand.
Yes.
If you banish the one that gets you a search, that's another way to get your whole combo started.
Yeah.
Like, this deck is good.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. These 2 cards here with the other 2 boss monsters we just learned about, it is very, very strong. What are you thinking here, Grant?
I just wanted to say real quick that there are finally translations of the new Magic-y stuff if we want to cover that too before we end it off.
I'm going to have to go to bed here soon. Like, I have work, and so yeah, I'm probably going to have to...
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say 5 of them if we wanted to go over them real quick, but yeah, if we don't want to, I'll just put them in here for you. The point is that this just goes to show that it's not just the monsters. The spells are crazy. Now, with the field spell... I mean, the field spell itself really does warrant being played. Now, I wouldn't want to search this with the Penguin. I mean, you could, but I say this because if you want to open with this, you're able to essentially you can reveal any of your level 1 Flundereezes, banish the Robin if you don't have the Robin, normal summon that, and then add the Robin back to your hand, and then you still have your normal summon to start with Robin. So you run this, you run Terraforming, and I know people are like, oh, the Ostrich and Toucan aren't that good. Well, you still have a reason to run more of them, because if you run the field spell, it's like Prankids. Any of them can become your play starter.
Yeah.
That's good. And that's just the first effect. The fact that you can immediately normal summon a Flundereeze from your hand after your opponent does. It's just more good, interruption follow-up.
Absolutely.
If you can do stuff on your opponent's turn, that's good. And the continuous spell, I shouldn't have to spell it out for people. The continuous spell is amazing because if you notice, it does not limit you. You can literally summon the Emperor Penguin if you want, and if you don't want to search out the counter strap, you already have it maybe. You could just search out this, and then if you have the Snowy Owl in your hand or another tribute,
oh my gosh,
you can literally
use the first effect constantly. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You can, and it's like people are already buying out some other level 8 Winged Beast stuff, or it doesn't even have to be Winged Beast. Any monster that requires 2 tributes.
Yeah.
So it's nasty. I've seen like if people really want some quote unquote market advice, I'm not saying this is good because people are always buying the stupidest things to try and get ahead. Darks of More is seeing some hype because it's another lockdown card. Ryza, the Mega Monarch, is seeing hype.
That has shot up in price unbelievably fast here. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's all because of this. It's hilarious, and I'm just saying for a set that this set got revealed like 24 hours ago, and people are still flipping their wigs.
And people are going bananas. Yeah, and now I see why. I heard about the deck. I heard it was good. But now that I'm reading through the cards with you guys, Carlos, I agree with you. This could be meta. I mean, it's really strong.
I actually just read the new Magic Key support, and the Synchro monster, the Xyz monster, and the Tuner monster they got are really good.
Ooh, yes, I can't wait to learn more about that. That's going to be awesome. Okay, let's look at the traps now. So, Flundereeze and the City of Dreams. So, this is a normal trap. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. During the main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 level 4 or lower Wing Beast monster. Oh my gosh. So, you could have a barrier statue situation. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Don't forget.
So, second effect. Hold on. Hang on. Second effect. Because, wow, there's so much to unload here. If you tribute summon a level 7 or higher monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card and change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. Oh my gosh. All right, and then we've got Flundereeze and the Scary Sea Counter Trap. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. If you control a face-up tribute summon monster, and no special summon monsters, and your opponent would special summon a monster or monsters, your opponent cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, but they can conduct 3 normal summons or set this turn, not just 1. Also, negate the summon, and if you do, return the monster or monsters to the hand. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Grunt, what is your thinking here that you were wanting to share? Go ahead.
So, and this is another thing to keep in mind. Now, in my opinion, the trap, not really the most necessary. I say this because the field spell essentially does the same thing. Your opponent normal summons, you normal summon. What I was going to say, though, to keep things in mind here, is that it's hard to say because it kind of depends on what you open with.
Yeah.
But we'll go over. I think let me see. Did we go over the? Yeah, we did. So, like, the Unknown Wind, for example, gives you extra draw power. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that depending on your field setup, you can get really annoying really fast because what you can do is keep in mind that everything that's banished returns to your hand. So, assuming that you didn't burn up your birds from the last turn, they're still sitting in your hand, you can literally start a chain on your opponent's turn.
Jeez.
And you can literally be like, oh, you normal summon a monster? Well, I normal summon Robin. Robin's effect. Search. Oh, I search another Eagle. Eagle's effect.
Yeah.
I summon Eagle. And you keep getting the normal train going. And if you have the continuous spell, you can tribute summon, but since you're tribute summoning, you can also send a card your opponent controls. And the thing I like about Flundereeze and the Unknown Wind and its effect is that it doesn't have to be a monster. You can send any card your opponent controls. So I know this sounds stupid, but if you are able to like hard draw this and you have a board presence, even Mystic Mine isn't safe. You can tribute the Mystic Mine as a material.
That's what we were just mentioning. The Mystic Mine could go. Any type of flood or any type of like stall card could be hit here with this. I mean, it is just amazing to absolutely think about, and it's searchable. So I mean that is amazing.
This is something I love. This is a control deck with a built-in out to other control decks. Not only does this shut down combo decks, but you can get around other control decks. I hate to say tier 0. I'm just saying that if this deck gets off the way that people are thinking it does, I could see this becoming tier 0 where a lot of people are playing it. And I say this because it is susceptible to a lot of things. I'm going to say this now because this is the last set of support we have for the archetype right now. I mean, hey, 10 cards. What can we say? That's plenty. But I am going to say this. The deck is still full of choke points. One, you get Veilered or Ashed on any of your starters. And if you don't have the field spell, then you might be dead in the water. If you're going second and your opponent solemns your first summon, you might be dead in the water. It's not full. I will say this. If the deck goes off, it goes off very hard and it stuns your opponent. I guess what I'm just trying to say is that it's very easy to look at what the deck can do and ignoring what can stop it. I don't think the deck is bad. I'm just saying that it's very hard to judge from now in a format where, like, Droll could stop this. You know, you could stop the Robins after its first search, and suddenly you're not searching anything else. Ash stops it. Effect Veiler stops it. Nibiru can stop this. There's a lot of stuff that can stop this deck, and I guess what I'm just trying to give out to the audience out there is, if you like this concept, feel free to hype the deck up, enjoy it. I guess what I'm just trying to say is, this is one of those things where we need to, you know, sit back and watch. This is coming from a control player. I love control decks. This is like the most control heavy deck I've ever seen with a ton of offense in it, and I love it, but at the same time, I'm just kind of waiting to see, because I feel like this is one of those decks where when people expect it, it's not going to be nearly as potent because it's easy to out with a ton of hand traps.
No, that makes sense. Carlos, your thoughts?
I'm just really, really big fan of the deck. Like, he pretty much said everything. Like, this deck is awesome. It can do anything. I'm excited for Burst of Destiny now. Like, seeing the Bolo support, seeing the Flundereeze support. I think Magic here in this set too. Like, this, honestly, this might be the set to invest in the future.
Just because there's so many options. So we're gonna stop there, guys, just because it is getting late for everybody. But thank you guys so much for joining us for the podcast. And we're getting closer to getting this episode completely finished. But thanks again for what you guys had to share, Carlos and Grunt. Great input, guys. You did a great job.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.